Ladies and gentlemen, I am the world's foremost expert on the $1 bill, and I bring you an answer to Buddha, B-U-T-T-A 5000, asked me a question this evening, so I'm going to make a short video in response to how all of these pictographs got on the reverse and obverse of the $1 bill, and why it could not have been man, as we know men to be, that did that. And in the meantime, I'd like you to enjoy some of the pictures that exist in my book, aka Angels on the Ark by Michael Fazio, a 1990-page ebook with 130 pictures, and the descriptions of the pictures that you see before you on your screen, for the most part, is what is covered in the book. I also have a little history on why I'm the crazy guy from Howard Beach, and why I believe what I do believe, in fact, because I have been dead not once but twice. And you can check on the first time in my video, The Cross of Christ, parts 1 and 2. So in the meantime, watch my, please watch my little dissertation of pictures that appear inside the volume of my book, and I will explain to you why no human being could have created all of these pictographs that appear on the $1 bill. Simply put, in order to create the immense amount of pictographs and to line them up so that they line up perfectly, as I have shown you in my previous videos, well, now there are 444 videos to be precise. About 300 of those are about the $1 bill. No human being with a 12th grade education could have put those pictures on the $1 bill. Therefore, it needed to have been done with some sort of a computer that lined up pictures, and then when the bill was folded, allowed you to see the pictures in a different configuration. But in the year 1934, there was no such thing, hypothetically, as a computer on Earth. Not that man didn't have one, but somebody else may have had one, or something else may have had one. And this is where the alien technology comes into play in regards to the pictographs on the obverse and reverse of the $1 bill. Aside from the fact that no one could have made all of these pictures line up so perfectly, and this has gone far beyond a happenstance coincidence or chance coincidence that a bunch of squiggly lines add up to a specific thing, such as the bassinet that I just showed you that exists when you fold the bill, the evil seed of death and the God pod together. It makes a perfect bassinet, and when you open it up, it shows you the throne of heaven. Even if someone could have possibly done this, no one could have done it in the year 1934, because they made those pictographs line up specifically with the words in the Bible, which would mean that whoever put the pictographs on the $1 bill would have had knowledge of the entire volume of the entire Bible, every single word, because there are 3,300 pictographs that I have thus far found. Much more than that, actually. I use that because it's a nice round number. But there are 3,300 pictographs that I have mapped out in full detail, and they all line up with the words in the Bible, and that's what my book discusses, shows you how you can do this as well. However, moving back to the gentleman with the 12th grade education that was supposed to have put all of these things, these pictographs and these drawings on the $1 bill, including the methodology in the Bible, the words in the Bible to how to fold the bills so that you can make a bullock or a sixth-winged seraphim that protects the God pod or the evil seed of death, by folding the $1 bill, the methodology that you see before you. When it's in a flat plane configuration, it doesn't look like much more than maybe a calf, but then when you just make a simple fold, it looks like a three-dimensional bullock, inclusive of the tongue of the bullock. You see, that's why no human being could have done this, because they would have had to have memorized every single word in the Bible, because not only do the pictures line up with the words in the Bible, but the words in the Bible follow a storyline. They follow a true storyline. And when they follow that true storyline, from one verse to the other will bring you to a different segment of the $1 bill. And it will show you, if you know how to read the codices and codex in the Bible, it will show you from one verse to another which part of the $1 bill is in discussion inside the Bible. Now, not all of the Bible has to do with the $1 bill, but the books that are related to Hebrews is a big book that relates to the $1 bill. The book of Daniel, the book of Isaiah, the book of Genesis, at least the first several chapters of Genesis, and certainly the first 17 verses is an identical replication of the God pod on the $1 bill. And then when you get to the book of Revelation, it depicts a lot of the entire reverse of the $1 bill, and more specifically in the front, George Washington, and especially the evil seat of death, where the Indian chief is inverted and turns upside down. So for a gentleman with a 12th grade education to do this in the year 1934, he would have literally had to have memorized the entire Bible word for word, and then he would have had to make a three-dimensional construct in his mind to create these pictographs. Because I can tell you something, folks, this picture that you see on your screen is what I used to drop backlighting behind the $1 bills. And I used it to drop the backlighting behind the $1 bills because when you look through the bills, which is a topic I haven't touched on in videos because it's hard to describe it, but when you look through the bills, I can tell you that the bills have pictures inside the dimension between the front and back of the $1 bill. So in order for the gentleman in 1934 to have been able to see all of the things necessary inside the bill, on the obverse of the bill and the reverse of the bill, is simply not possible. The technology that we have today, I don't think the supercomputers could do it. But if they could put all of those pictures together, and there are now probably close to 10,000, once you start making three-dimensional constructs out of the bill, it would be impossible for them to line up the words with the Living Bible for those 3,000 or 10,000 pictures that appear on the bill, because they would have to have known every aspect of ancient history in order to do so. And that is just simply not possible. So if they only had access to the knowledge that we possessed in 1934, no human being that we know of could do this. Therefore, it had to be an alien technology, or a technology that dates back tens of thousands of years from a pre-existent remnant race of beings that have controlled this world, and whether or not they are human-like in nature as we are, or whether they are the reptilian species that people say that they have seen, or believe that they have seen, or believe exist, is of no real significance. The fact of the matter is, we have been controlled by a remnant race of beings or an alien society since Atlantis for sure, and then their next project was in fact the first representation of an Ark of the Covenant known as the Great Pyramid. The Great Pyramid was their first Ark of the Covenant given to mankind on earth. The Great Pyramid was the first Ark of the Covenant. The second Ark of the Covenant appears on the $1 bill. The second Ark of the Covenant appears on the $1 bill. That is the second Ark of the Covenant. And that Ark of the Covenant was given unto Moses as the Ark of the Covenant. However, The Ark of the Covenant that was given unto Moses was the second physical Ark of the Covenant. So there was a covenant between the Lord's chosen few in Egypt, and then there was a covenant between the same type of covenant between the Lord and the wandering Hebrews. Now the Lord made a third covenant. I misspoke before. I said the second covenant was on the $1 bill. On the $1 bill is the third covenant. That's right. There were 3 covenants. And the third covenant represents the beginning of America. Again, because the wandering Jews are involved with this process. So the first Ark of the Covenant, that this entity that we believe to be God, that can't be what we perceive it to be, made was between whatever this race of beings was, between themselves and the Egyptians, and built up that society. Then they tried it again with the Israelites that had the hardened hearts and they couldn't get on with them. And then they tried it again with the United States of America. And they are in total control of the United States of America, folks. And that's why I say and wrote this book, Angels on the Ark by Michael Fazio, to give you this information.